Hello, family and friends and other HS warriors. Thank you for joining me and subscribing and watching my first video. I really appreciate all the support and the feedback and the talk that has come from that first video. So definitely just wanted to keep up with this and um, keep talking about what I'm going through and what I've been through, and I guess just more about exactly what HS even is, because a lot of people don't know. So HS is hidradenitis. It's basically boils, cysts, however you want to put it, that comes from infections of the sweat glands, and they come in different areas. That can be underarms or the groins, the thighs, buttocks, all uncomfortable areas, all areas that are prone to sweat more sometimes, I guess, but sometimes not. People get them in areas that really don't sweat too. So um, it's really hard to pinpoint, I guess, kind of where it comes from and how you get it and the rate of how you get it and how often you get it. It's different for everyone. It's different for everyone who has it. I've had this since I was 13. And mine kind of just started off as really small, I would guess, like pimples on my arms, on my underarms. And at first, most doctors thought it came from switching my deodorant or from shaving under my arms. So I stopped switching the deodorants that I had. I stopped shaving under my arms. Then I started getting them on my chest. So they definitely thought that it was from the fact that my breasts are so big and um, the sweating like that. So back then there wasn't really much they could do about it besides just think it was cystic acne, and that it was like an unclean thing and you should shower more and they're sweating too much. But that really wasn't the cause, and over the years it kind of like went away, and came back in different areas, either like my groin area or like my buttocks. Even like I've had it on my arms mainly through my teen years, and then once I got to I would say my first freshman year of college was when I had my first severe boil, to the point where it didn't just release on its own, and it actually got so infected it was causing me to get sick. Um, and I had no choice but to go, to an emergency room and have it surgically drained or lanced. And that was my first time even going through that procedure. And I was, to me at that time, still, pretty young and new to that. And that was like a huge overwhelming thing, and thankfully somebody was with me. My roommate went with me, and sat with me through the whole thing and watched the whole thing. I don't know how she did, but sat and watched the entire thing of the process of them draining it and stuffing it with gauze and everything like that. But for me to have gone through that the first time and to think that I may never have to go through that again, and at least it's over. And, that was very far from the truth. That was my first one, and I've had several since then, going to the emergency room to get different boils drained, whether on my arm, on my back, on my legs, my thighs. And it is the worst process and procedure. I wouldn't risk it on my worst enemy. It's horrible. You are basically given shots of lidocaine, the numbing medicine, in your boil. So the part of you that's hurting the most is what they stick the numbing medicine in. And once you get through that, you don't really feel much after that anymore. So they take a scalpel and slice it and squeeze and let all the stuff come out, and then stuff it with gauze most of the time. And for the most part, they like for you to come back and they take it out and then stuff it back in. It is by far the worst pain ever. It's like fresh open tissue that they're stuffing gauze in and then pulling out and then stuffing gauze in. Worst experience I've ever had in my entire life, and I've gone through it more than I can count, in more places than I can count. I have scars, I have scar tissue, so that's why in April, when I had my first surgery on my arm, it was like so surreal because I have had my HS under control for quite some time now, I feel like, and I'm not really sure why or how I got it under control. I just kind of stopped having the problem, and it never got to a point where I couldn't control it or I had to go to a doctor. So in April, for the first time in a few years, was where it got so bad I had to go and have a procedure done where they actually put me under to do a deeper incision and do draining and everything like that. And that was the first time that I was even given a little bit more information on that there's treatment that you can have, or there's something else that you can do, because for so long, surgeons and doctors have been trying to convince me to do surgeries like laser surgery or skin grafting, getting the lymph nodes removed either in my armpits or in my groin. And you know, everyone's different. Everyone goes through this different. So there are people that do that surgery and it works for them. And likewise, there are people that do that surgery and that doesn't work for them. And to be honest, I don't think that's something I can go through. Just the very small but yet severe things that I've gone through, I cannot put myself through that again and be in a hospital bed for 2 months. Being out for a week is enough for me. And I can't do that and do that alone on that end. So I decided against the surgery, and that was where I learned about Humira and was sent to a dermatologist, and they gave me more information on what Humira would do for me. And it has definitely helped in the 3 months that I have been on it. I have been having a few side effects, not really anything tremendous. I just really have been having some dry skin, and I've been noticing just dry patches. So that's the main, I would say, side effect for me. For others, it's a little bit different. Some people get drowsy after taking their injection or sleepy. I don't really notice that or have any other problems on that end. So I'm really, really liking the Humira. As far as what I've gone through, I will take battling with dry skin, trust me. That's nothing. So I have another dermatologist appointment coming up, and I'm sure they'll do more lab work just to see how things are going and how things are coming along. But I think the injections are going great, and looking back to where I was 3 months ago, and I was terrified on starting this. I was terrified on taking injections and needles and everything, and now here I am, and I actually look forward to my injections. I look forward to knowing that there is something that's helping me, because I'm 28 right now, and for so long I have not had anything or known anything or even really anyone to talk to about it. And in the past 3 months is the first time I've met people that are going through what I'm going through and know what I'm talking about and know the medicine that I'm talking about. And that's a hard thing to go through on your own. That's also where my depression and anxiety kicks in. I mean, you go through chronic pain often enough, and then you go through it alone, yeah, like, you're prone to be depressed. So again, it has been very nice to find others that are going through this, and that is why I was really, really adamant on making this YouTube channel, because I want this to be a conversation and something that people talk about. I know that there are more people that have this, whether you know what it is or not. Just recently in this HS community, we've had a member pass away from complications during her surgery, and I can't even tell you how heartbreaking that is, because we know more about our condition than doctors do. We tell them more than they would even know. You know, this past time when I just went in the hospital for my surgery, the doctor didn't even know that Humira was something that they were giving to people for treatment. So sometimes, you know, you have to be very aware of what they're doing. I've gone to the hospital before to get a boil lanced and gone home and noticed that they didn't do it all, or I've had 2 boils actually. So it's such a hard disease to deal with, and to trust these doctors to know what they're doing and to get the infection out and get it out correctly. And something as serious like sepsis taking over and that infection getting in your bloodstream and taking your life away, I can't even put into words how saddening that is. Like, that is heartbreaking. And I hope that nobody ever has to go through that, and I hope that we are able to spread more awareness through this. And I've been meeting so many people, and so many people who are doing different things and doing things in their community and getting HS Week started and doing walks across America to spread awareness. And that is amazing, and that is beautiful, because again, a year ago even, there was no one talking about this in my world. I didn't know anyone who had this. So I think that is awesome that people are talking about this, and that's awesome that we have more than one person that has a YouTube channel about this. I hope that eventually it will be something that is as well talked about as Crohn's or ABS or whatever, you know, like it's a disease and it's a disorder and people need to know about it. So, that's my update on that. I also was giving updates on my depression and anxiety. I've been on fluoxetine for 5 weeks now. Woo! I guess it's also, the name would be Prozac if you're common to that. So I've been on it long enough now to definitely see the side effects, and I would say it's definitely helpful. It's definitely helping me, definitely helping my mood. I have not been as tired and lethargic. I have gone weeks without feeling like I need a nap midday. I mean, we all feel like we need a nap, but I've gone weeks without just literally crashing in the middle of my day, or coming home and sleeping from 2 o'clock until the next day. So it is definitely helping me, and it is definitely a blessing. Some other stuff I have been taking, just different vitamins, because with Humira, it does lower your immune system. So you have to be really cautious with that. And also, if you get sick, you know, you can't take your injection that week. So my doctor just has me taking some different stuff: vitamin D, B complex, a women's multivitamin, all that good stuff to just kind of keep my immune system nice and happy and healthy, keep me nice and happy and healthy. And I think all of it's working good. I've been feeling great and amazing. Like I said, I think the Humira is great, and the only side effect with me right now is the dry skin, and I'm taking the proper precautions right now with trying not to get sick and staying away from friends who may be sick, and, you know, not sharing drinks and whatever you have to do. It's definitely life-changing for sure, but it's all for the better. I mean, I've been living with this forever and have not had anything that I can say has been changing my health the way Humira has. I haven't been having any drainage. My wounds have been closing up. Sores have been closing up. It's life-changing. I mean, nobody knows what that feels like except HS warriors, you know, to have those embarrassing scars on your arms and marks on your shirt, everything like that, and to just suddenly have that completely go away, and you don't have to worry about that anymore, and you don't have to worry about changing your shirt or people looking at you, or, you know, where your scars are and those scars diminishing. I love that. I recommend everyone who has this issue to get in touch with a dermatologist and see what they can do for you. You know, if it's not Humira, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's your diet. Maybe it's changing, you know, what you're eating. I've also cut out nightshades. I've noticed potatoes aren't as much as a trigger to me as tomatoes are. Tomatoes are a huge flare-up problem for me. So no salsa, no ketchup, no tomato paste, no nothing for me. And that sucks, because tomato is awesome and it's in everything. So you know, you learn, and everyone's different, and what works for you may not work for me, but try it out and see what happens, you know, and tell someone else. Let someone else know what worked for you, or start a video, or share it. You know, there's all different Facebook groups out right now for people who have HS, hidradenitis, and I would highly suggest, you know, if you have this issue, to get in those groups and talk to people and find remedies and treatments, and just share that information, because it is absolutely life-changing. I can't tell you enough how life-changing it is. So again, I appreciate you guys for watching and listening and subscribing and sticking around to hear about my health and how I'm doing. I really appreciate it. So thanks, guys.